Hi and welcome to AFTV. It's now time for the fan roundup. You could have seen from the fan cams, it went from light to dark. Now it's time to round up and see what they got to say. Let's begin with Tavares. He started, even though in the Liverpool game he didn't have a great game. A lot of people thought they would have seen Tierney, but he started. Does he keep his shirt for the Man United game? Do you think he had a good game today as well?
Yeah, I will answer that. I just want to say it's fantastic we're able to have these conversations because a couple of seasons ago, like, we didn't have options. Now we're talking about Tavares, Tierney, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Odegaard. We've got Xhaka to come back in, and obviously Martinelli as well needs his minutes. Saka, Smith. It's fantastic that we're having these conversations. It's an Arteta problem. It's not our problem. I love it. Right. For me, I would have probably would have gone Tierney. I think he's had a couple of weeks out now. He does deserve to come back in. He hasn't been dropped or anything like that. But yeah, again, it's good to have the option of both players, and whichever one's in form going forward should play the next game, and until that changes, then drop him out. And it's the same with the striker situation as well with Aubameyang and Lacazette. I don't really think it's fair Lacazette didn't start because he hasn't really put a foot wrong either. So everyone's talking about dropping Aubameyang. Why was Lacazette dropped? No one's mentioned that. But yeah, well,
midfield, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Odegaard really earned his place back in the squad. He didn't deserve to come in the way he did, but you know, again, that's Arteta must have seen something in training that we didn't see, so put it down to that. But
right, let me. I obviously asked Collection his fan. I asked him, is Martinelli ahead of Pepe for you?
Oh,
I'm going to ask you the same question.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah?
He's definitely ahead of Pepe today.
Yeah.
You know, he's took his goal perfectly today. You know, he's gone on. He's put a volley in. You can't go for. You didn't put a foot wrong. You know, Pepe, he hasn't played. I don't know if it's something at the training ground or something like that. But you know, Martinelli's come on for what, 20-30 minutes today. He's done bits.
Affected the game.
You know, he's done bits.
He has. I want to ask you as well, because I've heard you in the back when the people are saying Tavares, Kieran Tierney. I know you've been an advocate for Kieran Tierney. Would you start him then against Man United?
I mean, you've seen what happened at Liverpool. I personally, I would have gone with Tierney against Liverpool.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Personally, because he's got that experience. I do the same against Man United. They got a new interim manager in now. They got a new manager in now. Personally, I go with Tierney. I don't know what the other guys would say, but I go with Tierney just because of the experience. And to be honest, I go with Maitland-Niles over Lokonga.
Wow.
Personally, I mean, you've seen it against Liverpool. Maitland-Niles, I think he probably would have done a better job. Lokonga, he went off with Belgium and stuff like that in the international break. I probably would have thought Maitland-Niles would have done a better job. Hindsight's a beautiful thing. You would have seen it. But to be honest, I'd still stick with Maitland-Niles maybe.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it's hard to call. It's Man United. It's hard to call.
That's your opinion. That's fair. Yeah, it's good problems. It is good problems.
Personally, if we go with Lokonga, I could probably see a draw. If we go Maitland-Niles, I could probably maybe see a 2-1 to Arsenal. If it's Lokonga, maybe a 1-0.
Okay, fair enough. Let me ask you. No worries, bro. Let me ask you as well. We just won 2-0. Was that convincing enough for you today? Did you want to see more goals, or do you think, you know what, it's a win, I don't mind, but did you want to see more from today from Arsenal?
I mean, generally, we always want to see more goals, but I mean, the first half, we started very slow, sloppish and that. When the second half came out, there was much more of a roar. You could see Arteta pushing his players forward, telling them, let's get forward, let's get forward. The crowd got into it a bit more. So I'm generally impressed with the second half. First half, I was still sleeping pretty much. It was 12:30 kickoff. But second half, I was happy with that.
Okay. Yeah, wicked. Let me ask you now. The Aubameyang situation falls on your shoulders. All this talk about work rate and whatnot, are we giving him too much of a blight, or because he had a big miss today, or do you think, no, stick with him, he's still going to get back on form, backfiring?
No, if you stick with him, still quite, he's our captain, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone dips sometimes, you see what I'm saying? But the man them doing their thing, and obviously man has to keep working, innit? So Aubameyang's working hard, so you can't really drop him, but he needs to score some goals though. He needs to score some goals too.
Yeah, no, respect. And lastly, I've got two of you here. Let me ask you first, who was your man of the match for today's game against Newcastle?
I think it's tough to say, but I'd say I think Tavares.
Tavares, yeah? Happy with how he played? Do you think he keeps his shirt for Man United?
In that second half, I was really impressed with his performance. I think I'm not sure if I'd start him over Tierney for next match. Maybe it's a bit of a tough one, but I think he deserves to start actually. Yeah.
And let me ask you as well, we happy with firstly today's performance, the 2-0 win, and then secondly I want to ask you as well, who's been your favourite signing for Arsenal since this season?
So for me, I think Newcastle came with a game plan to not get beaten, and in the first half they did that really well. I think the dark arts were in full force.
Yeah, Callum Wilson, big time. Yeah,
Callum Wilson, Joe Ellington, they really made it difficult for us, and actually that was a real challenge. And actually, like I said previously, we've got defenders now that want to defend, they want to get involved in the physical battles, and they relish it, whereas before your Mustafis and your Koscielnys would maybe shy off a little bit and they would get bullied, and we're not. Our centre backs now, you can't bully them.
Yeah, because back in the day we used to be said that we were too soft, and now you feel like that's changed.
Now I feel like we've got two centre halves that want to defend, and they're excellent at defending. And they're excellent in those 1v1 battles. So you really feel confident when you go into those games. And in terms of the signings, I think it's a difficult one, because I think, what we're now developing slowly but surely is a bit of squad depth, and we're now building that kind of sense where I'm looking at players that offer something, like your Odegaards, like your Lacazettes, and you're having conversations about, well, we can drop him because we can bring him in, or we can drop him because we can bring him in.
Right.
I think for me, we've been talking about Oba, the work rate issue. Work rate is the bare minimum. The bare minimum that you ask for a football player when they go on the pitch is to work hard. And we're sitting there giving him credit for work rate. I think we're seeing it, and I think what we're realising now is that we weren't seeing that work rate the last years when Wenger was in place, when Emery was in place, and maybe when players would down tools a little bit, and they were playing like luxury. They knew that they could kind of come in. They knew that and there wasn't the challenge, and there wasn't an opportunity for anyone else to come in and kind of offer something that they didn't offer. Whereas actually now we're sitting here with having conversations in all positions all over the pitch, going, well, do you bring him in? Who do you drop out? And we haven't had that for years. So it's positive. The team are kind of growing and building together. They're going to have ups, they're going to have downs. We're going to have lows like last week, and we're going to have games like this week where actually you're sitting there going, character-wise, what are they going to show me? And actually what I think they've showed us in the second half was exactly what you want. In the first half, questionable, but some of that's a hangover from the week before. Some of that's because Newcastle came in, made it difficult to play. 2 banks of 4, no space. Again, we had the conversation about Laka or Odegaard. I can understand why Odegaard was in, because I think he probably controls the game a little bit more. He dictates the tempo a little bit more, and on the ball maybe he gives you a little bit more than Laka does. And I think that kind of showed in the second half when the game opened up a little bit, and we started to be able to pull them out of their positions and out of their slots a little bit.
Okay. Let me quickly ask you as well to finish off. Can we get that 4th spot this season?
Yeah, for me, absolutely. For me, I'm really looking at it, and if we don't get it, I would be disappointed. At the start of the season, I was like, but now, like where we're starting to develop, what the other sides are showing us, we're not seeing the consistency from Leicester that we would expect. We're not seeing it from United. Tottenham are where they are. So actually, I'm looking at it going, we should really be pushing behind the leaders and saying actually now okay.
Let me just quickly add, it's cold, it's raining, it's windy, it's wet, but massive shout out to Cecil, because he stayed and made sure everyone had the opportunity to say their piece today. So massive shout out.
Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you hit a like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on AFTV. Peace.